What if I told you there's a simple psychological technique you can use to make any scene, screenplay, or story instantly more suspenseful? It's what powers the tension in Get Out, what fuels the dread in Inglourious Basterds, what amps up the paranoia in The Thing, and what drives the terror in Squid Game. In this video, I'm going to show you a 4-point screenwriting technique grounded in neuroscientific research that will transform how you write suspense in your scripts or stories. And stick around, because at the end I've got a free worksheet packed with exercises to help you amp up the suspense and hook your audience. And trust me, once you learn this, your writing will never be the same. What's happening, party people? I'm James A. Hurst, internationally tolerated screenwriter, story scientist, and quip lord, and I've been a screenwriter for over 25 years, working on award-winning series like Winona Earp, Hardy Boys, and Degrassi. Welcome to my channel, where I show screenwriters and filmmakers how to write the script that writes their future. In this video, I'm going to show you a storytelling technique called psychological presence. And by the end of this video, here's what you'll be able to do. Lock your audience inside the scene, build unbearable tension without action or violence, turn quiet moments into emotional landmines. But first, let's define this thing called psychological presence. So I'm fascinated by the science of storytelling, and lately I've been focused on how suspense works on the brain. I was really struck by a paper published in 2023 in the Scientific Study of Literature called Presence, Flow, and Narrative Absorption, which coincidentally was the name of my 90s hip-hop joint. In this paper, the scholars draw on psychology, cognitive science, and media research to build a model of how suspense grips our brains. They break it into different components like narrative immersion, emotional engagement, and predictive processing, which I know sounds pretty complex, so I pulled it all into one unified theory I call psychological presence. And this mother lover is going to define it for you real quick. Psychological presence is a state where tension builds not from what's happening, but from the terrifying uncertainty over what's about to happen. It gives the audience the feeling they're no longer observing the scene, they're experiencing it. This technique uses a combination of 4 psychological triggers to low-key hypnotize your audience into feeling present within your story. They'll be so immersed in your movie, they'll forget they paid $16.50 for a popcorn that cost 30 cents. Here are the 4 steps. Bury the threat beneath the surface, play the information gap, strip away their agency, and stretch time until it snaps. I'm going to show you each step using an iconic suspenseful scene. For our first, we're going to look at a scene so unnerving, it puts you at the edge of your seat, afraid you're going to poop your pants. And to answer your question, I am that immature. Burying threats beneath the surface is the first key to creating psychological presence in your audience. It works because our brains are wired to detect threats beneath calm exteriors. It's why you feel threatened when walking into a quiet forest at night, why an empty house feels spooky, and why your toddler's sudden silence fills you with dread because you know your toilet has just claimed another iPhone. Let's see how a master filmmaker uses this technique to create arguably the most suspenseful scene in all of cinema. So Nazi Colonel Hans Landa sits down for a seemingly pleasant chat with a French farmer. He drinks milk. He compliments the farmer. He seems warm, friendly, thoughtful even. The surface is calm, but the truth crouches beneath, literally. There's a family hiding beneath the floorboards.
But the meaning of your visit, pleasant though it is mysterious to me.
I just have a few questions, Monsieur Lapelite. If you can assist me with answers, my department can close a file on your family.
This scene has a physical effect on us as we watch because evolution has built our brains to send a physical alert when something is off in our environment. That ancient survival system hijacks our senses and becomes all-consuming. The world fades away and we find ourselves sitting in a farmhouse in World War II France, being sized up by a killer. This is the phenomenon of psychological presence, the feeling that we're no longer watching the scene, we're living in it. And it makes suspense unbearable.
You're sheltering enemies of the state, are you not?
Yes.
You're sheltering them underneath your floorboards, aren't you?
Yes.
Now I know one of you joy-sucking jabronis is gonna rush to the comments to tell us, actually, it's not the buried secret that makes this scene work, it's Tarantino's masterful blending of the spaghetti western and postmodern tension. So, thanks, QuibbleQuill67. Where would we be without your helpful feedback? Probably enjoying life. But I digress. Obviously, no single technique carries this scene. It's the careful stacking of tensions that pulls the audience inside. And if you really want to amplify that pull, you need to master the next step. You really want to hook your audience into your scene, give them just enough information to dread what's coming. That is the power of this step, the information gap. When the audience knows something terrible is coming, but doesn't know what or when. It's your brain's version of, scratching a lottery ticket, desperate to reveal the next part. Except instead of potentially winning $5, you're hoping your favorite character doesn't get brutally murdered. That's exactly what Squid Game does in the pilot episode. Hundreds of debt-ridden contestants walk into what looks like a whimsical playground. Bright sky, painted colors, a giant animatronic doll. It's a bit weird and a little bit creepy. Clearly something is wrong, but we don't know what. So our brain kicks into overdrive. We become like little detectives. Why the surveillance camera? Why are the doors locked? Why does the game feel so quiet? That's the information gap. We know something's off, but the characters don't. When the first player is shot, no one reacts because he's just lying there. They think he tripped. Then the second shot lands. B-roll, chaos erupts. As panic spreads, we frantically try to figure out the rules. Soon enough, we figure them out. Red light freeze, green light move. But we, the audience, figure it out before the characters do. And that gap between what we know and what they know is what makes it so nail-biting. And there's a scientific explanation for that. According to neuroscience research, the space and time when the audience is waiting to see if their predictions come true, it lights up the brain's reward system, just like gambling. And why is that? Well, because the human brain is wired for something scientists call predictive uncertainty. Now, what the hell does that mean? Let me put it in terms that even I can understand. Our brains love guessing what comes next. But here's the thing. We seem to find it even more exciting when we're not sure if we're right. It's a brain chemical cocktail of dopamine and anxiety, the thrill of, I think I know, mixed with the uncertainty of, do I though? That tension, that gap between what we suspect and what we know, keeps the audience leaning forward, unable to look away. Now let's look at what happens when the characters slowly realize they can't escape. For maximum immersion, one of the most powerful steps you can make is to take your protagonist and gradually strip away their agency. Why is that? From infancy, we learn that our actions affect our environment. Crying brings comfort. Reaching brings objects. This connection between intention and outcome becomes fundamental to our sense of self. When a character loses agency, it activates the fear not just of harm, but of helplessness. It's like watching your partner scroll past the exact show you want to watch and instead settle on a documentary about competitive cheese rolling while you silently search for a couples therapist on your phone. In the hypnosis scene from Get Out, Chris's struggle to move triggers our primal fight or flight response. We feel his paralysis in our body because we instinctively understand it's a violation of our most basic right, control over our own bodies.
I can't move.
You can't move.
Why can't I move?
You're paralyzed.
This scene has an incredibly powerful physical effect because it leverages three universal fears: the fear of being taken over by someone else, the fear of being trapped while conscious, the fear of watching danger approach without escape. And here's something important to note about this scene. Look what Jordan Peele does. He makes Chris's loss of agency easy to track because he shows us at the start of the scene that Chris still has his agency.
Come in and sit with me, please. Just for a little while. please.
Notice she says please twice. Chris isn't being forced here. He's willfully participating, making a choice to engage. Peele's showing us that society conditions us to play along with danger, even when it's staring us right in the face.
Now, sink into the floor.
Wait.
Sink.
So here's a takeaway. If you want to make your audience squirm, don't just wave a gun in your character's face. Take away their power slowly, bit by bit, until they realize it's already too late. But what if I told you there's an even crueler trick you can play on the audience? You really want to make your audience sweat? Show them a clear and deadly threat, and then make them wait.
You see, when a man bleeds, it's just tissue. But blood from one of you things won't obey when it's attacked. It'll try and survive. Crawl away from a hot needle, say.
John Carpenter's The Thing gives us one of the greatest suspense scenes in cinema, the blood test. Here's why it works. Carpenter sets up a clear process. Heat the wire, dip it in blood, watch for the reaction. We know exactly when the danger might strike, but we're forced to sit through each test one at a time. Watching this scene, we're so dialed into the characters' reactions. If they're human, they're terrified the person next to them might be the thing. If they are the thing, they're seconds away from exposure. Negative, negative, negative. With each safe result, the tension builds because we know the pattern will break. We just don't know when.
We'll do you last.
So now that you know the 4 secrets to deliver nail-biting suspense, the question is, how do you use them to supercharge suspense in your script? Before we dive into the exercise, I want to hear from you. What's the most suspenseful scene that you've ever seen in TV or film? Drop it in the comments, and I'll break down some of your top picks in a follow-up video. Let me walk you through a simple exercise that I use before I'm writing a scene or a script that's going to be suspenseful. And don't worry, this is included in the free worksheet you can download below. So I take out a piece of paper or open a doc and ask myself these 4 questions. Can I bury a threat just beneath the surface of the scene? What's a piece of crucial information I can give the audience but not the characters? Can I slowly take away my character's agency within the scene? Can I play with time to maximize the tension? If you can build your scene using these ingredients, you'll tap into the core of psychological presence and keep your audience glued to the edge of their seats. And unlike my previous attempt at creating tension by releasing 47 rats into a packed theater, an incident my parole officer keeps bringing up, this method is legal. Pretty sure. Check the link below to grab your worksheet, and don't forget to tell me in the comments what's your vote for the most suspenseful scene so I can break it down in a follow-up video. This is James A. Hurst for Screenwrite, and remember, you don't need anyone's permission to create. The next step is yours, so greenlight yourself. Give yourself permission to start your creative journey today. And if you're already on your journey, keep moving forward. Don't think about creating, be about it. Start writing the script that writes your future. Until next time, be easy, stay awesome, and keep writing.